All right, so unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to make it there today, guys. So in my stead, I would just like you to basically follow this tutorial. I'll probably just make a couple of them to make them shorter so they're quicker to go through. Okay, so first off, what we need to do is take what you have inside of Mudbox and get it out of there and get it in Maya so that we can start to rig it. Um, so you should have. You can see I did this amazing sculpture, right? Looks beautiful. Um, and then you have painting as well. You probably have multiple layers. I'll just do another layer so you can see, right? So let's just say I paint, orange on this too. All right, so that's not really orange, so that you can see that we're doing stuff. Okay, so I got this Jackson Pollock looking thing. So I got multiple layers painted. I've got my sculpt layers done. That looks all hunky dory. Okay, so the next thing we're going to want to do is get this out of there. Okay, so we need to do a couple things before that. Make sure you have this saved. I'm going to save mine real quick. Control Shift S. Okay, let's try that again. File save scene as. Apparently that's not set up. And I'm just going to save mine right to the desktop right now. And I'll just say ugly dude. Okay. Make sure you have it saved before we do this next step. So one of the things I need to do is I need to take my high resolution details. So basically the sculpting stuff, this stuff here, because if you were to look my, let me see, if I just hit page up, you should see, that's page down, and that page up. If I do page up, you'll see I have, 211,000, or was it 2,117,000 polys, and that's just a lot of polys. Obviously, I can't use that, right? That W, you can see it's very high mesh, and I actually want it to be much lower. So what we need to do is actually basically make a normal map from comparing the two sides. Okay, comparing the low end to the high end. This is what they do in video games. We discussed this before. So what we're gonna do is have Mudbox automatically make the map for us. I'm just gonna get rid of this grid. It's not helping me. Okay, so you're gonna go to UV maps, UVs and maps, and then you're gonna go to extract texture maps, and then you're gonna choose new operation. And I'm just gonna call this normals. Okay. And then we can choose what kind of maps we want to create, right? So they have a bunch of different options here. We don't really need most of these. The only one we're going to be concerned ourselves right now is this normal map. So I'm going to select normal map, and then it's going to say, okay, what is my target geometry and what is my source? Okay, so basically, what's your low end and what's your high end? This does sort of make a difference. So for some of you, I'm going to hit page down so you can see. Some of you might want to, out of here, actually export out the level, this level 1, and not level 0, and not this level, right? So you might be like, oh, you know what? It's a little too low poly. I wish it was a little bit higher. So if you are going to go up a level, you'd want to make sure that, so I would look at it like this, make sure this is what I want. Obviously, you want to keep it as low as you can. So what you'd want to do is just make sure you switch this to 1 and not 0. All right. Otherwise, what you would do is leave it at 0. Okay. And then this is just your highest. So you just click on them. You can choose. I'm actually going to choose 1, not because I actually want to, but just in case some of you do, and that way it'll make sense to you. So I'm going to go ahead and choose level 1. Okay. And then level 0. So those are the two, or level 5, right? Whatever your highest level is what this one should be, by the way. Mine's just happens to be 5. You can see there's different methods. There's raycasting, or there is subdivision. I'm just going to go ahead and choose subdivision just because it's simpler. Generate one map for all targets. Here's the image size. Let's do at least 2048 because that's kind of small. That is fine. Anti-aliasing. I'm going to choose 4x. This will make a big difference as far as how long it takes. Compatibility, obviously, you want Maya. In Maya, that's tangent space. The type is going to be a texture. It's going to want the name. You got to click on this and tell it basically where you want it to save to. I'm just going to go ahead and put it to my desktop for now. So I'll just say, character underscore normal map. Okay. And then we'll hit save. And that's where it's going to save to. And then we're just going to go ahead and hit extract. And it will take a while. You just want to make sure you save this before you do this, because this is one of those things that definitely get closed. That will definitely get broken. Okay. So I'm going to hit W to turn that back off. And what I want you to notice is this. If I go to my paint layers, you'll now see that we have this normal map. Now watch what happens when I turn it off. If you look, you can see it's not actually, well, there's a bit of bumping because of the thing, but it's the normal map. It's actually giving it that extra bit. Well, this actually be a better example. See how good that looks? Now watch, I turn this off. It's gone. And that's because it's not actually sculpted on there. It's the normal map. So your texture elements in particular, those will actually show up. So we basically baked our high-res details into this normal map instead. So now we've got those. That all looks hunky-dory. What I want to do next now is just export these out so I can bring them into Maya. Okay. So all you're going to do now, notice too, if I hit page down, I go level below. It's not, that map was made for level 2. So just be aware, you should be on the level that you made it for. So if you were level 0, make sure you're on level 0 and it should look correct. I made mine for level 1 because I'm just going to export my guy out one level higher than what I brought him in as. Okay, so now we just need to export these out. It's actually relatively easy. Do not do it over top of these individual ones. I want to do it over the whole layer. So where it says diffuse, not the sub layers. I'm going to right click and we're just going to go export channel merged. And then we're just going to tell it where we want to save. I'm just going to do desktop again. And I'll just say, character underscore color map, and I'll save. And we can do the same thing here, but I'm pretty sure we already have it right here. Let me double check. Yeah, so it already made it because when it created it, it did the normal map itself anyhow. So, but normally I would just export channel merge, but there's just the one. Now you might notice that there's some areas of your normal map that just doesn't look very good. So there might be like weird, see, I don't really have it because I don't do too much with that. Particularly like between the fingers and stuff, you often see this. I'm actually going to turn off my diffuse so I can see a little bit better. But often between fingers and things, you might find that there's like a seam or something doesn't look very good. If that ends up being the case, like if for some reason the normal map just has a bad part or there's a line or something, like you did it across an area, across the seam, a good way of fixing that is just to select the normal map. And what I can do is actually, I'll just do it anyway. So I'm going to right click and you can do solo as diffuse. And that's actually going to show you the map as the color that it is. And then what I can do is I'm just going to use the paintbrush. Actually, let me see what else we have here. Yeah, let's use the paintbrush. And what I can do is just hold shift, and shift is smooth. So I'm going to make this much weaker though, like this. I'm going to hold shift, and then I can kind of smooth out make it even weaker than that, I guess. I can smooth out where there's bad problems. Okay, so if it just doesn't look good, just try smoothing it out, and that should hopefully help. Although this is kind of obliterating it, I'm going to leave it alone. But that's something you can do, right? And then when you're done, just right click and go unsolo, right? So not Han Solo. And then if you do that and you want to keep it, you would just right click and then export channel merge, and then save it over top of the one that was already exported out. But I'm fine with what I have here, okay? So that's how you're going to generally, and then the last thing you do is export the model, okay? So you're going to want to do this even if you want to keep the low resolution, because if I did the sculpture, you'll see, even if I go to my lowest resolution here, page down, it still affected the model after I sculpted it in. See how like you can still see it still affected it. So you're going to want to still export out your geometry. I'm going to keep mine on level 1. It's this way. I'm going to keep mine on level 1. It's kind of weird. My page up is on the left and page down is on the right. I feel like it should be the other way around. But anyway, I'm going to export on level 1. But I need to export off the model as well because it's going to be different than when I brought it in because I sculpted on top of it. So I'm going to keep it on level 1. Then I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my object list and I'm going to go ahead and select the model here, right? And then you're just going to go File and you're going to go Export Selection. So if you would go down to level 0, if you did level 0, and I'm going to do Export Selection. And then again, and I'm going to choose OBJ because I like OBJs. And I'm just going to say, ugly dude model and hit save. And now he should be exported, and you'll see I have my ugly dude model here. I got the color map, and I got the normal map. Okay, and we have the Mudbox file. Okay, in the next video we're going to do is I'm just going to show you how to put some joints in it.